Everyone, welcome to the session. In this today's session, we'll be covering networks, actually server network debugging. So let's see. So whoever joining, let me know from where you're joining, and if you have any questions, definitely ask the question. I will just wait for a few, just few seconds or minutes if you take like if they're not joining quickly, I'll just wait for a few minutes. Okay, and let me do quickly one thing. Let me share the link in the LinkedIn because mostly people come on the LinkedIn. So give me a moment and I will start the session immediately after that. So the link is here. And yeah, in the meantime, do definitely let me know that if you have any questions, just simply let me know. Okay. Okay. I've shared on LinkedIn. Now let me come back. Okay. So I hope you guys can see it. Let me change the this to round square. So we'll have more space. Okay. Are you planning any project related tutorials? Project related, yes. Normally in my normal tutorial also it include a project. If you can see in my the Deus with AWS series or the infrastructure as a code series, all have a specific project hosted in GitHub. So I am planning for the Python. It will be project based, but at the beginning it will be just basics. When moving forward, it will be project based. Okay. Actually, if people are not sure what I'm talking about. So Sahil asked, "Are you planning any project-related tutorials?" So that's for that reason. Okay. Oh, sorry. Actually, yes. I put my microphone very far. Thanks for telling me, Jaspreet. Just me. Okay. Let me volume a bit. I hope now it's okay. And yes, do let me know if you have any questions. I will definitely try to cover that while giving the explanation and demo. So yes, all questions are welcome related to server debugging or maybe something else also. I will see maybe at the end there is a QA. There you guys can ask. I'll definitely answer. Okay, let's see how many people joined. Okay, so I think everyone joining. So I will not waste much time and let's get started the session. So in this server network debugging, we'll cover that what is exactly called a server network debugging, then the issues, the main issues of course we'll be covering that slow networking and latency, network misconfiguration, IP address exhaustion, no network, no connectivity like kind of issues, network security, and the network monitoring. Okay. Just before that, before moving forward, do let me know if you guys can, I'm doing the screen share and all, so you guys can see it properly. There is no voice problem anymore because once it gets started, it will be problematic to rewind and all. Okay. One question came in between that we should why should we still static IP on cloud server with an IP already? I will definitely answer that. Okay, there is a Q&A section. I'm marking your question as a star. While doing that, I'll be covering your question first. Okay. Looks like everyone joining now. So I'll just get started. So the very first thing, what exactly is a server network debugging? So debugging, of course, in simple sense, networking any server network related issues is called server network debugging. And what is the goal actually? I mean, why even we do the server debugging? There are multiple goals, okay? Because ultimately your goal is to make sure your application that you're hosting in the server should accept the traffic from internet and give the response to the internet, right? And that is exactly the end goal. It has to be faster, it has to be flawless, it has to be without any issues. Any issue, that means application not working and you are under fire, right? So The final goal is to make sure the traffic flow working perfectly fine. And to achieve that, whatever problem happens, I have to fix it. This is in simple sense called network debugging. Of course, in server network, because network debugging kind of a lot of kind of, it can be your personal network, it can be some office network, but my context is purely within the server because that's what I work on. And whoever watching me, I think most cases you guys also work on server, cloud, DevOps, right? So this it is focused on that area. Okay, and if you don't have any networking knowledge, maybe after the session, or like this is live, so after this is over, in the comment section I will give I already have one basic networking course in my channel itself. I will definitely share that. Okay, now since I'm done with that and you understand what is exactly called server network debugging, we can go to the next steps. So okay, the very, I mean, this issue is very common. Okay, and everyone frustrated, why the hell is network so slow? And to answer that, how do you find out network is slow? In most of the cases, the web page, the API that's supposed to get a response, the latency we want is lower and it should load faster. And that is, if that doesn't happen, that means there is some latency or slow networking happening. And as a DevOps engineer, as a system engineer, or maybe cloud, sometime as a cloud architect, they will be asking, where is the bottleneck? Why is the problem happening? So you should have a sense to tell, okay, this is the signal, like application loading slow or upload download. Say in most of the cases, if it's not directly with the third party provider, like you can always have a direct uploading in the S3 or in Azure blob storage. But in most, in not in most of cases, even current now also, there are many application which accept that file directly and upload in the server, right? Not directly in the object storage services. So in that cases, if it's slow, then also to find out the network is actually could be slow. There are n number of reason, but one of the most popular reason is the network itself is very slow. Okay, and once you understand it, then you have to actually first, like, what is the first thing you should do? You are going to check the networking speed, right? And we'll be doing that. So I have one Ubuntu server. Okay, and let me actually share the screen. I hope you guys can see. It's a like very common, good-looking AWS page, and okay, and there I have one EC2 machine, which is a very normal one, not much. Okay, it's very pretty basic. You can see it's T2 micro. Okay, now how you understand what exactly is the network speed of this particular computer, because that will give you the like that is the most important query. What exactly networking speed? If you want, if you have 1 Gbps internet and you're trying to download a file from internet, like ultimately internet is what? It's someone else's computer, right? Computing devices. Why that is not downloading in the same speed as your local network? Like you have to think about all those questions. You have to think that computer's networking optimization or capacity or bandwidth. Like if the that remote server don't have enough capacity or bandwidth, maybe a lot of application running, a lot of users, then of course the download speed or the upload speed both will be slow. Okay, so the first thing is to identify what is exactly the speed. Okay, for that I have, I mean, not just, I mean, there is a very popular tool, speed test and fast and all that. So we'll today try with the this speed test. Okay, and let me show you how it happens. So let me just open the terminal. I hope you guys, okay, let it load. Okay, and if you guys can't see it, do let me know if you have any problem watching the console. So this is the terminal. Okay, and since I have the server, if I just simply go to connect, it will give me the SSH command to connect with it. Now I will not show the basic how to create server and all, just show a little after a few minutes. For a reason I'll be coming to there, but yeah, now let's connect with SSH, and of course yes. So that's there. We are logged in SSH using SSH. First thing you will do is install the client to test. So this is sudo apt install speed test CLI. So let's do that. And what is happening? Sudo no apt package. There is a snap. Okay, let's try with the snap. Whatever it is, we just want it to install. sudo snap install. So let's see. Okay, looks like installed. Now let's try the speed test command and let's see if it's working or not. Okay, now I think we can do that. If it doesn't work, that is a other way that let's see, install. Oh, we have to update the package list. Okay, just a moment. Sudo apt get update. In case some of those libraries not getting downloaded, simply update the package list, and most of the cases this problem fix the package installation related problems. And if it doesn't happen, there's a lot of other way. So no worries. It will be pretty fast and as expected. Now let's try to do it again. Install Vita CLI, and yes, this time it's installing. Give it few seconds, guys, and let me see if any questions. Highlights nav is the new. Oh, okay, okay. New everything. Always something new coming up. Okay, let's wait few seconds till it's process. Takes this much time. Yeah, it's done. So now, if you run the command that is speed test, I hope this time it works. And yes, you can see the ping is happening and all. Testing the download speed and all is happening. And see the download is 635 and upload is 632. It's good enough. Okay. And but it's suppose okay it's for you have 100 users and they are doing upload download fine. What if there is thousands and thousands? Of course you'll have additional server, but you might want this server to be more network performance, more better than what you want to do. I'll be coming to that. Okay, let's look at the doc. It's not showing. Your video is not showing. Can you confirm? Give me 1 minute, guys. Hello, hello. ठीक है. Uh, can you confirm that video is showing? Looks like it's showing to me. That is fine. If any problem, do let me know again. I will definitely check. Okay. So, oh, okay, now it is. That's great. Okay, maybe some temporary network problem, but that's fine. Okay, so you can see the fix is that you have to upgrade. Okay, it was not showing during the screen share. Okay, okay, all good, all good. This happens, so don't worry. And see, if that problem happens, that you can sometime optimize the application, do this and that. But if the user base is high, you have to actually improve, or you can say upgrade to new instances that have the better network performance. How I'm showing you. And again, guys, if you don't see anything, having any problem, do let me know. Okay, because I'll be showing all that, and you guys can see that will be that thing. Oh, you cannot see me. Okay, okay. Let me check that. Why I'm not visible? Let me check. Now I'm visible. Okay. During I misconfigured the that one, the configuration of this app where I'm hosting this one. Okay, so no worries. Now let me actually make it a bit. So okay, what did I square? So you guys can see the screen better. Okay. Now look at that. Here, the networking security are networking is the main part, but they don't tell you that how much is the speed actually, isn't it? There is. not such way. Okay, but if you go, like, while even there is of course the way to upgrade, but while even creating the instance, there is one way. So let's go to EC2, and then see there's a launch instance. Of course, you guys know while creating the instance, and you select the whatever OS you need. You select that. So let's say the Ubuntu, and now is just notice what I'm going to explain. See the network performance tab here. Okay, here what is saying low to moderate, moderate up to 5 gigabit, up to 10 gigabit, high, right? So these are the parameters, say 12 gigabit up to 10 and all that. Okay, and the more better configuration, like better network configuration or performance you want, there will be of course additional pay you have to pay. I mean additional amount you have to pay. So understand that for normal small or medium application, it's okay to go with the low to moderate or moderate. Okay, but if it's a production level application of many users, I'm talking about a scale like it's a production application. Now it can be any app actually. So it's a production application. In those cases, you have to select the instance type also selectively, because that has to match with the network performance. You don't have customization option here, at least in the AWS. So there you understand what is your requirement are. There is huge upload download and application load requirements are there. Then maybe the API response has to be fast and it's easy to utilizing, or any instance in general, any cloud. You have to check, you have to select what is the best network performance model, and based on your budget, based on the like CPUs and memory, it's a combo. Select it, because the better network performance you want, you have to upgrade in most of the cases. And that's why that's the reason actually there are a lot of type of instances, right? So you have to select that. That's a you can say once there is a lot of customers, and with even optimizing application, you just can't handle the network load. You have to do the upgrade. That many people miss. In even interviews also when I take, they completely miss the part. But this is a very crucial that sometimes you have to pay more. There is no other way out. Pay more to get better performance. Okay, you can see the I, they increase the performance level of the data transfer. That's the bandwidth, right? So that is the required. Now what is the another one? See the this I show you like how to, all that. If there is good enough networking bandwidth is there, like the download and upload super cool, super fast, still the application load is slow, that means okay, all are good. Check the CPU. The CPU is also good, the memory is also good, because all combined give you the performance, right? If all other resources are good, still you are facing the performance loading problems, then you might really have to think about the application source code problem. Can be there, can be actually a part of the code that's doing some, there is some memory leak or infinite loop going on. So those kind of issues could be there, which making the application itself a slow. That's the reason the CPU getting like maybe sometime getting overloaded. You're getting sometime the network performance problems. So you have to understand what is the root cause and then fix it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, you guys. But that is the part how to fix the latency issues. Of course, while talking about how I can forget about the CDNs. So see, CDNs are like, where you can catch the data static properties. Now there is actually edge networking is there, which where you can store even function the codes also. But previously it was to be the static concept you can store nearer to a customer. So suppose I am here in the Kolkata, okay, and you are maybe in the Mumbai. Suppose in Kolkata you have the Mumbai server, okay. Then my internet connection has to go to the ping to the that Mumbai server and get the data. What if the data is in Kolkata server? Of course, they will be a bit faster, right? That is there. That is what CDNs do. They catch the content nearer to you, so that the content will load faster. Of course, think about it again. Another example: the application that you're utilizing, maybe in the China or maybe in the US. Okay, that is the example. I'm not telling it to be there. Is the example. Then you are accessing the thing in India, and and that you have to like internet connection has to go to the US server, China server, and getting the response back. It taking time, right? What if that is in India? Of course, it will be faster. So think about that way. Okay. So CDNs are really good for loading the resource faster, having the better cache, and since the resource is near to you, the loading will be faster. And there's a lot of serious solution. If I start talking about this solution, it will go a long list. But AWS CloudFront is good enough, and there are Akamai's there. Cloud, what is there? There's a lot actually there. If you guys want, I can give the complete, like I can post a complete list of CDN services which can be good here. Okay, and you can just Google about it. You already get a lot of list. Okay, now yes, the next problem is the network misconfiguration. Now, one question is there that how to transfer your server to a new upgrade instance. Let me cover that because that's actually related to the previous one. Okay, so it's Surat saying that how to transfer your server to a new upgrade instance. See, let me get back to the where I'm giving the demo. So here you are giving the demo, right? You don't have to actually migrate to new server. No, if you want to upgrade the performance, you can simply go to EC2 and just go there and just show you. And if you guys having any problem seeing this, definitely let me know. I'll fix that, like just like I did now, and say network test. Sorry, network. This is the name of the instance that I created. I manually put the value. See the instance setting, and there right now instance type is like it's not, you cannot change that. Now let's just stop it and stop the instance. Now always remember, stopping the instance will, like, see the IP will, I think, go away probably. See, let's when the let the loading happen. Give it some time. Oh, why I'm doing manually? There is a refresh button here anyway. Okay. So once it stop, you will see we'll get that instance setting to change instance type. That I'm just going to show you. And this public IP is a dynamic one. Okay, and dynamic IP will change. I think there's a question at the beginning someone asked the static IP. Okay, yeah. This is a question. We're saying that why should we set up static IP in a cloud uh, rather than IP already, like normal IP already have. So this is the example. See, uh, the IP itself now is lost, isn't it? Because I stopped it. Now, this is not an ideal solution if you have your domain name mapped to the IP directly. Like, again, it's another network problem if you see it that way. Because you stop the server, the IP is gone now, your domain is set up as a record to this particular IP, it's no more accessible because you stop it, and even if you start it, it will be new IP, right? So there's a reason if you have elastic IP or static, say elastic IP, then it will not change if there is a restart or new start. Even you create a new instance, you can add that IP to the new instance. You have all that control. That's the reason we use the static IP, where we don't want the configuration to get lost, because always you can get a new IP, but that's not ideal every time because we might have a mapping from domain A record to this IP. If you change the IP, that domain will no more load in the browser. That's the reason. Okay, that's the most popular reason. There are a number of cases which I can explain, but this is, think about the most important case. Okay, in the part I'm here, see instance setting and change the instance type. So you can come here and you can change the instance type. Now, if you're not sure, again, you can go back to the instantiation screen. You can see which type you want with more performance, and you can come back here and change to that. You can simply say, I want M level or X level if I don't really want this much big. Just as example, you want bigger one, you can always and apply, it will upgrade and you can start it, you'll get a new IP and you can utilize it. If you don't want to get every time IP change, you have to use the elastic IP. I hope you can understand now. So let's get started. Start the instance. It will start. Anyway, it will start. It will take some time. But I hope you got the point here. Okay, that there is no need to actually change to the like upgraded instance directly. You need to upgrade to new server. I mean, you're not going to create a new server for the upgrade. You can simply upgrade your existing server. But in case if you really want to upgrade the server, you can simply like make a backup or a snapshot of the data and then you can move that data to new instance or attach new instance. You can do that. Okay, so that is there and fine. I think there is a problem. Is it browser is loading? Okay, good. Internet is there, so no problem. I'll just continue. Okay, I hope you guys understand that part. Now let's check network misconfiguration. Now, what is actually network misconfiguration? You have to understand it very well. That sometime what happen, when we go and try some make changes in the DNS level or in the networking level, so we will add more security layer, or could be anything, to be honest. It can be in number of changes you just do, and somehow something break. Like the suppose you make a there is a microservice running. You configure the microservice very well at the beginning. Somehow you make some changes and the communication broke between the services. Then what? It's a disaster. So there's a reason. There could be a number of reasons. So most popular again, networks recent make changes got something bad. You add a new layer of security or the software, then can things get bad. Multiple persons making the same change same time, that can be a bad thing. Or DNS, like these are the way to find out. Okay, and DNS not loading resolving properly. Like again, that's again there's a misconfiguration I showed just a few minutes back. So that is all there. Now how to fix it, how to like prevent even before happening. You can use the infrastructure as a code where not other all people will have direct access to the network, so there will be less risks. Because there is, of course, if there is manual things going on, there will be high chances of something get wrong, because we are humans, we tend to error most of the cases. But if there is any infrastructure code, there is a review process, there is all things are said, the automatic testing, simulation, then this problem will get caught even before happens. Suppose the second point is what I'm saying, that review or simulate to dev. So before moving to production, if you just have see, using infrastructure code, you can make repeatable infrastructure. In that way, you can make deploy to the first in the staging infrastructure and see everything working fine. Then only you make the same change to the production. That way you're double sure that not going to happen in a bad, okay, in a bad way it will not happen. That's the reason. And maintain architectural transparency and train the team well, because team has to know about the all the configuration. If they're going to work in the same team, they has to understand the architecture well. And if you're not having any document or any clear view of how your networking works, and sometimes it get complicated and everyone know that, it's better to have all these in place. Okay, so maintain a very clear transparent network architecture, something like that, that can be explainable or very clear to view to the juniors or the seniors who have a new joining, so that your team know your networking architecture well, where is what part actually. Okay, so that is the thing here. Okay, this is the third issue, is that IP exhaustion. Now, what exactly is IP exhaustion? Suppose you have a subnet, and you in the subnet you have 180 IPs, or say 200 IP, whatever the IPs is this. And suppose there is huge workload, and after the huge workload came, you need more instance, and say 1 lakh users came. It will require more than 180 or say 200, whatever it is, and it has to accept the traffic and then process. But since your IP quota is filled, so even if there is new instance getting created, it will not get the private or public IP. Okay, and what is the problem? If they don't get the public or private IP, how can the traffic can be forwarded there? Because there has to be IP, so that if you're getting the traffic via the load balancer can redirect the traffic to there. But if there is no IP, it's not going to happen. That is the problem, right? So you need scaling, but it's not scaling up. The reason, IP or it's of course a networking problem, right? And it's a IP address exhaustion. So what is the solution? You have to think beforehand. Okay, what could be the your network need? how many instances might be there. You have to have some estimation. If it's a big application, you know it's a big application, then in that particular subnet where you're hosting the application, you have to make sure that it has at least that number of the, you have that number of the IPs available. See, you are not going to get cost for that IP. Suppose you reserve say slash 20, you have 65. You are not going to charge for that, right? When there will be instance, the instance resources get charged. If it's not a static IP, if it's static IP, another case. But most of the cases, it's the dynamic IPs, right? And if you have load balancer, the DNS, the where you have the DNS or domain name, that redirecting traffic to the DNS, right? So you don't need to have a static IP. Static IP, you can just have dynamic IP, and that can change. Is perfectly fine. It's calling treating your infrastructure or in server as a cattle. Come and go, come and go. You don't need it. Okay. So that's the reason you should not, for those kind of bigger server needs, you should not have a static IP for each server. That's costly and non-practical. You should have all dynamic IP. Now that it has to get a new IP, you have to make sure the subnet CID are blocked. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again I have another kind of full session on how to define network subnets and mention all that, like how much IP should be there. All that I will again add that in my like this video's comment section after the session, where you can learn all that. Or optionally you can go to my videos, you can go for the subnet CIDR session, there you can learn that. So those are very important. If you don't know how to scale, then that's the bad news. You will get problem, you'll be under fire when there is actually that much of customer like will be accessing your site, and it's not scaling. So server will have too much workload, it will get down, or like it will be, once what happened, once the CPU or the memory get overloaded, it give the latency increase, the response come very very slow, and your customers get offended. You don't want that. That's the reason there should be this kind of things need to be considered before designing the network itself, or even when the growth happening in the growth stage itself. You have to improve this kind of things. You have to create, may say, new VPC, and like migrate to new VPC where you have configured that properly. Because once the VPC also itself not configured, you cannot make change to existing VPC. Suppose in the VPC itself, in the network or net mask, you say give 24, then you cannot change that later on. So you have to create new VPC to do that. So understand that really well what you're going to handle in the future, or maybe when growth stage, so that you can handle this IP address exhaustion issues. Okay. Okay, I have already given the reason also, and have covered the solution also. Let's move to the next issue. So the next issue is that no network connectivity. Now, if suppose you are trying to connect to your server, you're not able to connect via the SSH, or maybe user, you have application that is not reachable anymore, so there is no network connections. So the first thing is that you have to understand that there are firewalls in the cloud or in the, behind the server. You repeat the point related to server instances getting addresses but not server traffic. So I think he joined late. I will just repeat you for once, just in short, that you have to provision your subnet well, that there have the IP enough IP addresses to for your future needs. And if you at the beginning itself you don't configure the VPC well, suppose you set a small limit, bigger limit is fine to be honest. But if you set by mistake small limits, then you don't have an option to increase that limit in the VPC. You have to create new VPC and with a like bigger IP range, and then you have to like move the instances there, or say move your application to that whatever resources you create to new VPC. Okay, that's the required one. Okay, now that is done. I will just simply continue the no network connectivity one. So if of course there is traffic, if there is no traffic coming into your instances, or you're not able to reach out to your instances or application, you have to check the like every cloud, say GCP, AWS, Azure, whatever you call it. All cloud have their own naming of the firewall or security group, or say network security kind of things. There you have to check the port is allowed or not, or because if the port itself is not allowed, you will not get the traffic. If the port are well and is allowed for the outbound and inbound, all good, then you have to check the VPC configuration, because VPC configuration you have to make sure the internet gateway is attached to the particular VPC. Otherwise, there will be no public internet. If not the VPC, you have to check there is a NAT gateway. If even the NAT gateway is not there, that's a problem. So you have to consider all that before actually making any move. Okay, like if even you see that even the VPC or maybe other instance in the same VPC working fine and have the no problem, then there will be a ringing bell saying that if all going well, I have configured the VPC well, I have configured the, I mean, other instances are working fine. That means in the current instance where you're having the problem, having some problems. Okay, what you can do, see, most of the cases cloud providers gives you internal tools, internal connectivity tools, where there or even if you don't have any, you can use the AWS, that SSM, where you can create the agent and having the there itself, right? There is one message I got, correction. Oh, that is fine. It's typo. I'll fix it. So that is there, and you have to, you can connect using those kind of, like, even if your from internet is not accessible, inside the cloud tools they have some kind of connectivity. Okay, and using that you can connect with the instance and run this kind of commands. What will happen if you run the command? You will find that why it's not working. Maybe in the server's networking configuration in the instance you have something wrong, or maybe the network adapter attached to the server instance maybe misconfigured somehow. So you have to find out. If you don't find out, how can you fix the problem? So that's the reason you have to find that. Now, how to find that? There are numerous commands: ping, uh, that traceroute, nslookup, ipconfig, ifconfig. There are a lot of tools. I have already listed them in this PDF itself, and I'll be sharing that PDF next day in the morning time. There you guys can, or maybe I will share in the video's description and in the comment section, where you can simply download it. Okay, and you can then check out. I have, see, this, click on this link, it will be redirecting you to a page like this, where I found this upclouds like debugging process very well. So if there is already a will, you don't have to reinvent a will, right? So there is something good is there. That's why I thought, okay, then no need to like having a separate session just to mention that. I just given a link. See, you just do a ping. So let's say I'm connecting with this instance to give you a good example. Okay, what happening? I hope the loading happens. Okay, stopped. Still didn't start it. Okay, let it load. Okay, running. So let's connect with this one. Let's see, it's able to connect. Now it should be able to connect. Yes. Okay, so let's see. So if you want to like first check why the problem happening, you can first ping to understand this has the outside reachability. So if you ping that way here, if it's failing, that means there's some problem in the network configuration. If it's passing, that means maybe inbound, some in between, some configuration somewhere is problem, but outbound traffic is going well. And there is a lot of other steps also you can just try out. Check the network configuration if the this command supports, of course. Yes, the IP address is there, it should be accessible. Maybe your local, your connection, your client connection having some problem. So you have to think how to solve it. There are a lot of ways. Again, you have n number of ways. You have to find out the connection is there or not. Is it accessible both inside outside? Those things you can simply, and if you are having any problem that's not working, you can go ahead and check the network interfaces. And actually, it might be different for the cloud systems. There is just you have to think maybe because I'm checking the AWS ECS, so you have to look for AWS EC2 related networking, like how to check configuration. All. So, but these are the very common steps. You already given the command anyway, so you can go ahead and check. Okay, now because there's a lot of commands, if you try to cover that, we don't have enough time. Okay, so we have covered like what is the no intent, how to solve this, the commands you can solve by that, like debugging and then checking. Now the network security. Now, what about the network security? So, server getting used by attackers. So, by attacking others. Suppose you have 10 servers, okay? Then out of 10 servers, just a moment. Say out of 10 servers, two or three servers is getting used somehow to attack other people, other servers. What will happen if that happens? So, you will get a complaint email from the cloud service provider saying that you are utilizing, or maybe somehow your resources getting utilized by someone or maybe yourself. They don't know it, right? You're using for the right reason or wrong reason. You must take care of that, and you have this deadline: 2 days, 3 days, 7 days. And if you don't comply with that thing, of course they will just terminate your account if you don't comply, don't reply or something like that. And you have to be very very careful about that. Not just that, you can even get cases from the international entities, because just because your resource or your networking resources getting utilized the bad way, or maybe say this how to find out reasons. You have no control over your server, you are just typing anything, nothing happening. There is someone utilizing your computer resources and network. Of course, the think about one more important part here. To use your that particular instance, someone has to be remotely connected to the server. If there is no internet, then how can they access it? Always remember that part. So also in the logs you can see that if there is any malicious or any abnormal connection going on or not. So you should enable the VPC flow logs, the traffic logs, and whatever logs you have available for tracking. It might come with a cost, so you might also consider the cost before actually enabling that. Okay, now if this happens, if the network gets compromised, how to solve it? Okay, there are many ways to solve it. The one that I applied myself was this. Actually, we have one package, not just package, where there was some exploitation happened. Like to find out that there is a Node.js package available and that is doing causing this, you need a lot of time and patience. And the most important is that you cannot have the network connection enabled. Otherwise, what will happen that it will keep attacking other people, and you cannot afford that. You cannot allow your computers to attack, like your servers to attack other servers. That's a bad thing. First and foremost, you should disable the networking, and using internal tool you can access the your servers. Of course, there's all the cloud provider have their internet tool using which you can access the instances. Then run the tools. There are a lot of security tools. I will not name it because some are proprietary, some are free. Just simply search by in the Google network scanning tool, or say malware tracking tool. A lot of available. Run in the Linux or Windows, whatever the server it is. Run there. Find out the bug, and they will find the path. In the path, you can understand. Okay, that's how I find it. I saw in the path itself. It's a Node.js path. I go to the module, I check in the that sync check, or there is npm audit, found out there is a critical bug is there. Previously, somehow I missed it because we are handling a lot of things, but somehow I missed it. I fixed it immediately, and after that, till now, there is no problem of this, exploitation, because we find out and we have that active tracking. We found out any bugs is there. If it's happening, we fix immediately, because see, all software have a problem. All software modules have bugs. There could be malicious content. You don't know until it's find out. Okay, a hacker will be exploiting it anyway. But if you find it, you have to fix it. Then it cannot be excused. It's your problem. It's your issue. Not found. Okay, you don't know it of other case. But if it's found, if you know there is a problem, you have to fix it. Okay, that is there. And another way to save, like this is the first step, how to handle this. And there is another one, like hide applications, hide the application server or application instances from the direct internet, because if the hackers have the direct IP access, they can access, isn't it? But what if you just make it a private, like put all the application servers or DB servers in the private subnet, and then using load balancer you access the traffic. That way, the surface area, the exploitation area is less to hackers. That way, you can have good network security part. Okay, and the third one is having a very good network monitoring. I'll be coming. There is a section dedicated to network monitoring. I'll be coming to that anyway. That you should consider having a good network monitoring so that you can monitor infrastructure networking part and there's any problem happening. Most cases these days, if it's a good paid one, even there is multiple free one also via some plugins, you can monitor for some anomaly, or even cloud service providers these days giving very good tools and services to monitor there is any anomaly going in the server or not. So you can utilize that and fix it. Okay, and of course, good practice to always collect the VPC log, flow logs and analyze it. So weekly, daily, or monthly, whatever you can, based on your time available. Okay, you should be trying that. Yes, I told you right. I have a special section just to the monitoring because you can. I mean, I cannot monitor. Or no one can monitor a server, or like if you have thousands of servers, you cannot like possibly monitor all that manually, right? So you need some tools, some software to always keep monitoring your services, and if there is any problem, of course there'll be problem. It's supposed to happen. Even big companies CEO like Amazon CEO or CTO or big CTO Microsoft, they're openly saying there will be problems, but you have to make sure there is fault tolerant. It has to be high available. You have to think about the scenarios and fix it. Of course you can, one of the very good way to create the problem is like offensive testing or chaos engineering. If you want, you can do that. Okay, to find out there is a problem or not, but not every time is possible, right? You have to keep monitoring your services. How can you do it? There are a lot of tools available. To be honest, I can't even remember the names of all the services. So much services. So, very popular one I will tell, the Solaris network performance monitor, Datadog network monitoring, Manage Engine Ops Manager, Zabbix, PDRG network monitoring. I never use it, but I found these are the things that people utilizing. Just that's a put. Avik, Site 2047 network monitoring, Athera, Incognita, Logic Monitor, Ops Monitor. I use the Nagios only. Did I put the Nagios? Okay, I forget. But yeah, I think because I didn't put the free ones, but there are a lot of free one also. So Nagios and other tools are there. You can utilize all that. Okay, and of course, not just that, you have to actually utilize the cloud given. So most of the cloud service provider have their own network monitoring tool, which can be sometimes actually very cheap. Okay, to be really honest, the outsider tools come really costly, but sometimes the insider tools are very cheap. Maybe better to use the insider tool for this network monitoring. Like, of course, if you just run a EC2 instance, just for example, say not doc me, it's just me browser, and let's say I'm going to the EC2, and there itself, if you go to the monitoring, you have like this is a basic tool, but you have that like you can check like how the network monitoring going on and all. See, it's loading, where you can check status checks, network in and outbounds, if there's any spike or not. All that you can check, right? Network packet count. If you have application load balancer, you can check active connections, like how many people are actively utilizing at that same time. You can do all that, right? So these are the very good tools at the beginning phases, monitoring part. Okay, and of course sometimes the basics are not enough. In that case, you need this bigger tools and other paid tools. So think people utilizing it. Okay, and there are open source like Nagios. I found good. There are maybe might be others. Just search for it, you will find it. Okay. And if you need it really from me, then I just let me know. I'll definitely get a list of open source and the paid ones. Then you can select. I can do that. Okay, so it's 8:20 and you have 10 minutes for asking any question you have in mind. Okay, any question. If you have maybe related to networking, debugging, or maybe related to the other things, say cloud, devs, programming. If you have any questions, you can do ask me. You have 20 minutes. Okay. In the meantime, I'm checking the existing messages. If anyone having any, like if I don't covered any issue, then I will be first covering that. Okay, so why should use static? I think you already covered. This is just to make sure if you have a DNS configured, so domain name, say sandeepdas.in is redirecting traffic to the any particular IP. The IP change, that's the bad news. We don't want the IP to change. If it's a at all IP based, okay. If it is a small site, small instance with static IP will be enough. Okay, that's the reason. If the IP change, you the website is no more accessible, right? Think domain I'm saying, but if you don't know, like, if someone watching don't know about domain, say site, it will be much more simple language. So if you have a site, say Sandeep Das Facebook, or say like the Facebook na, is a very good example. They misconfigured their DNS, and like they didn't, like, many people actually didn't able to use for a few hours. So this thing, things happens. uh Video is not showing. No, it is not showing. There's some problem in the misconfiguration by this software. That's the reason. I can transfer your server that I told. You don't have to just. So this question again, I'll be just repeating that. How to transfer your server new upgrade one. You can do a snap like copy of the your volume, okay, and snap store it, like just backup copy, and you can run from the create a new instance from that with the upgrade instance. That's the way. And sometimes it's certain, I mean required actually, you can simply upgrade your instance to newer instance. It will be enough. I think you already repeated multiple time. Hey everyone, how to monitor Nagios effectively. So Nagios part I will be covering in a dedicated session. Okay, I already have a plan for that. As in the when those tools are video coming, when those tools actually can you give complete roadmap for video? What those actually yes. Someone else also was saying it, like I think Anurag, someone saying that he was asking to if I can have the dedicated session. So I will definitely do it. Okay, so no worries. I will have a dedicated video plus article on complete roadmap with a document like this in a pre-recorded, so there will be no network problem at all. That way I will be giving you. Okay. Okay. And probably there. The question is that how to change the instance from one to other AWS account, right? Then you have to do the cross. I think cross account part. You can do configuration, and then you can manage it. Okay. What problem happening? Okay. Now it came back. So the next question is that I think was put server to local, put a server local machine solution, invent solution as a common. Have have to copy data files from production server local machine. What is the best solution for implement if solution has been very. See, the best solution, what I will say, if you have application, like if you see what happened in the server, you have so many modules, so many binaries, so many already configured. While moving that server to another account is another story. Another region is fine. You can do the cross region, just the data from data backup and restore that can do that. But the best, if you ask me, is the containerization. In a container, have your application code, have your dependencies all set. Simply move the container to that another account or another region. It's super and better, to be honest. That's the reason. That's the reason in DevOps is so much utilizing, right? Or even everyone adapting. That's the reason. Uh, any is Anshu Khanna saying any ideas how to improve network performance throughput by manipulating kernel setting, for example, checking the TCP algorithm. I'm looking for options. Now I will see. I did networking after whatever required. Some network debugging, some problems in my real life also. If there is any problem with networking, I find out the bug where it is. I fix it. So that's there. But changing algorithm and all, maybe someone networking expert like I think Mike is there who's a network expert. he can tell you that. But I'm not networking expert. I know enough or advanced level to handle the production workload. There you don't need to TCP algorithm optimization. But yeah, you can try some tools available somewhere, and maybe monitoring tool or network optimizations tool. You can try that. That will be you can do easily, right? So it's Shubrat saying that what will be your first step to solve a issue? First, like in what issue? Like if in networking issue, then I will first check the server which will become next gen in the cloud era. Okay, let's first answer the Subrat Mohanty's question. That if it's a network issue, I will just check in the server. What is the issue? Is no network or slow network or some misconfiguration? DNS not working. Based on that, I will check the particular area. What are the beginner steps? Are like looking at the configuration ones, then looking at connectivity. Try to check the like if it's the server level, then I will start checking with some commands that I've shown while explaining the tools part. So that is how we do it. And in general, solving problem is like again first getting as much data as you can, then like organize the what is the problem, summarize it, and then look at the affected areas. Okay, it's any issue on Linux. That's a good thing. I will come to that. First is Praful. So now which cloud will become next gen in the cloud era of 2022? That's a very tough question. Okay, it might be biased or not, I don't care really. But AWS, I think, still is the boss in the cloud era. Okay, even in the 2022 also, I think so. And then if you tell who is after that, then Azure, and after that GCP. Again, why listen to me? You can simply check to the that magic quadrant marketing thing. There you can find it. Okay, because market share, whoever has a more likely they are the leader. It's any issue on the Linux. So any issue in the Linux, first I will just check that what is the problem. If it's a permission, like yeah, type of the problem first. Is it the CPU like getting slower, CPU related, or network response coming slow, network related, or the memory optimization is so much that nothing will working as speed that we want, or some halting is happening. Uh, so this is what is the type of the issue. Then based on the finding the type of issue, you have to find the area with CPU like too much usage. That means might be something triggering. So then you go to the user stop and see which is causing too much CPU. If the application, then check the application code. If it's some software, stop the software, find the upgraded version of the software. We have the fix where it doesn't consume so much CPU. So you have to go that way. Identify the problem. What is the type of the problem? What need to be done to fix the type of problem? That's the flow. Okay, it's a big question, and let's like okay. So it's Raju saying that I am facing a prob. I'm facing one issue regarding Lambda, which is configured with API gateway using Postman is invoking correctly, getting success response, but in the SAP system, Lambda is not calling. Now, SAP, but from SAP system is not calling. It's a very complicated one to be honest, because maybe it's allowed to the like that SAP system don't have access to outside internet or this particular servers. We don't know, right? Without looking at the configuration of the SAP system, I cannot tell, right? So without looking at the issue or the more context, it's very hard to clear it out. Okay. It's Arvind saying that your video on Terraform helped me clear Terraform exam. Now I am like it's always makes me happy if someone get something better, like get some achievement and all. It really make me happy. Thank you, Arvind, for your comment. I hope you success. Okay, and it's Subrat Mohanty saying that why should you keep the your client data inaccessible from Ansible? No, I not sure. Can you explain, Subra, that what you want saying? The client data, and this is what? In the user data that we configured in the AWS a similar way, or the actual databases, like the client original data in the databases. Suppose you're managing MySQL or MongoDB or such servers yeah, in some like in some Linux instance or Windows somewhere, you should not use the Ansible to access that. Maybe that or that. Whatever reason, actual data should not be accessible by the Ansible because there can be bug which can enable the hackers to access this kind of spaces. So while doing the data part, you have to encrypt it, because data still there is a lot of ways can get stolen. You must encrypt the database so that it can stay secure. Okay. This is nice. Chirag. Yes, it's Chirag, one of the greatest area. Networking, the data, the Chirag is the mastermind. I think we didn't do a session, a lot of like joint session, Chirag. Maybe we should do it once soon. Okay. It's Smoothie saying that what is actually take to become cloud community hero since you are the one. I don't think having education. Okay, yes, that's the reason, because there are a lot of people who have all the certification you have to offer, but they're not hero. The reason is what they are learning, but how much they are sharing, how much they are helping the community. That takes it. They don't. Some do, some don't. So whoever don't do it, they are not deserve to be hero. Even they have the influence, even they have the say knowledge, like huge technical knowledge, but if you don't share the knowledge in the world, or don't help out those who are learning in the new in the field, then they will be not rewarded as hero. Because while see, the definition of the hero in the AWS hero site, someone who go beyond their limits to help other people, right? And they get chance to become a hero. We never wanted, like, I know hero, I know the hero, because Dhaval was my friend. I see a lot of people, I admired them. uh, I know a lot of people, who are doing excellent, they're helping out the people. I saw they become hero, and I never expected to become one. I was like helping out whom I can, whatever I can, and they like, if you do something good over time, people will start noticing it, and you will get rewarded. But don't work for the reward, because we never work. I never work for the reward. Like, what is it? I can always make more money working in Saturday Sundays for the clients. But I think money is of course one of very important part, but it's not everything. Like, it can make you happy, but not so much happy. The happiness you get while you like making someone success, you get happiness. Like, someone use your content to get certification and passing it. Someone using your content uh, to solve their real life problems. That happiness and that fulfillment is on a different level getting the money. So that's the reason I'm saying that money is of course important, but of course not everything. And to become hero, you have to help out others. You have to help out selflessly, because if you want to help out people just to become hero, I don't think anyone can become a hero. You want to help out people, you are doing it, maybe without even you trying, you can become a hero. So that's the point here. Okay, and yes, Surya saying that actual database. So yeah, actual database should be encrypted and should be isolated from the access from any Ansible or any other tool, not just Ansible, not from Chef, not from the say even from SSM, because tools are tools, and tools can be utilized for good and bad, right? You have to be prepared for the good and the bad. That's what I know. Now, not everyone actually use Ansible for that, because most of the cases what happens, Ansible get used for the server debugging, patching, some configuration changes and all, not for the database management. Database, I would say, use the managed services more, because that takes a lot of load from you. You don't have to manage the patching or security encryption, because all that it's only getting handled by the database service provider or the cloud service provider who are supplying the database. That will make your life a lot easier in that way, right? So that's the reason I don't personally suggest to use Ansible with any customer data. That's dangerous, because Ansible may have some bugs not found yet or maybe found by the hacker, and they can utilize that backdoor or the security hole to get access to your data. And now, right now, data is everything. Right? If your data got breached, your company may shut down, or maybe ultimately, see, that's not the real problem. The problem is getting fired. So, of course, you have to think about that. Yes, Chirag, we'll do soon. Yes. Man, I'm waiting for my MacBook Max. I like this laptop is kind of dying whenever I'm doing some 4K video or some good quality content production and all. So I really want that. I'm just waiting when it comes. I'll definitely do. Can we got a session on Jenkins? Jenkins CI/CD all is there. There is, I think, more than 4 or 5 sessions in Jenkins CI/CD. Just simply go to the my video section, search by Jenkins, or in the playlist there is a Jenkins complete playlist there. Do by that. I did a lot of Jenkins session. One Jenkins session is remaining, and that is for the advanced users, really advanced, say 3, 4, or 5 year guides. For them, I will try to make one, but not immediately because that's not my goal. My goal is to make whoever fear the technologies of any DevOps or anything, to make them simpler for them. That's my goal. Not like making someone knowledgeable. More knowledge is good, but that's not my primary goal. Primary goal is to whoever want to learn something, but they get fear or not able to get started. My goal is to help them get started first, and of course, I do a lot of advanced section also. Then they can join it. So for the this singing CI/CD, you can already get that one in my video section. Okay, you can definitely get that. Okay, looks like I have answered all the questions. Awesome. So yeah, I have answered the question. If anyone still have any more questions, they can anytime reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want. I even showing my email also. See, or if you want a dedicated session in my site, you can do the paid booking or request for it whenever I have free time, which is very less chances. But yeah, there is it is. Um, so you can, there is a my website also, learn@das.in, where you can simply go and get all like these sessions and all. Everyone will get it. There is already a list available. You can simply go there. And if you didn't subscribe the channel yet, do subscribe the channel, because that makes me happy and makes encourage me actually to make a lot of more videos. So I definitely suggest that to do. Any suggestion, you can definitely post in the comments, or you can mail me. Okay, have a nice weekend, guys. Enjoy your weekend and learn, grow. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, learn and grow. And any problem you're facing that you want my help to get solved, you can simply let me know in the LinkedIn or in the email. I will definitely take a look, and whenever I get chance, I'll make a video. And just so you know, since you guys all are here, next week I'm going to start the Python with the Cloud SDK series. What will be there is that using the like Python, how can you manipulate the cloud infrastructure or manipulate the uh, like anything. Like first few session will be basic Python, like simple, what is the variables, how to define the variables or the data types, how can you do the looping, very simple one. Then some complicated web framework, then like understand the basics and some of the real life application programming part. Then I will show you some really good, easy example of infrastructure provisioning by the Python using the cloud provided SDKs. And after that, how you can utilize for the advanced use cases. Now, I'm not a data engineering guy or data scientist guy. My focus is not that. My focus is in the cloud and the DevOps. I'll be explaining to you how can write complex script using Python, how to control cloud or the other things via the Python. So that's my point here. Okay. Last question, will accept Sandeep, any plan for making video on console? Right now, no, but maybe in the next year. Right now, Python, Pulumi, then Nagios, because many are asking for the Nagios monitoring set, like setup and monitoring complete part. That I will do. Okay. Okay, and thank you, Smriti, and thank you everyone for staying. I mean, some random guy speaking a lot of things. Not every people listen. So thanks, guys, for listening. And do let me know if you have any problem, any technical problem, of course, any problem, and you want solution. I'll definitely help you answer that. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a great day. Bye, and good night, of course.